It's okay. Nobody's making a highlight reel of this. Ever again. Until I take over the world. Then I'm gonna, like, chain Mr. Red and Random to the highlight reel mines and be like, make highlight reels. It'll be how they pay taxes. It's like, alright, instead of paying taxes, you have to make this. I'm joking, that'd be terrible. Ladies and gentlemen. And in-betweens. I don't know, there's no smooth way to do that. Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary persons. That actually sounds... Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary persons. Welcome to the Mario block. I hope at least some of you are looking forward to this, because Lord knows I am. So, I want you to do me a favor, okay? I want you to jump back to 2004, okay? It's 2004. The world is a better place. No, it isn't. Don't listen to the hype. But it's 2004. Dragon Quest VIII has come out and has pretty much reawakened the West to the Dragon Quest series. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas has absolutely stomped all over any other open world game. Half-Life 2 was finally released, and to massive acclaim. Halo 2 was released, and everybody hated the last 5 seconds of the game. Metal Gear Solid 3, the best Metal Gear Solid game, came out. All of these are great games, and all these are worth of note. Oh, yeah, and also, freaking WoW came out. I was in a wheelchair this year. But here's the big one for our immediate relevance. Because one of the other things that happened in 2004 was the Nintendo DS came out. And for those of you who don't know what the DS is, I should have physically gotten mine. I even meant to. I'm sorry. The reason I'm late is I decided to go ahead and lay down and close my eyes for a bit because I was just exhausted after the first shift. I apologize for the indulgence. But I'm not 100% sure where my DS is. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to be a prop anyways. The DS comes out. The Nintendo DS. You may or may not know what the Nintendo DS is because it's the second best-selling console of all time still. The Switch has certainly been pushing for that number 3 slot. But no, yeah, the DS is still number 2. It's way up there, as it should be. I could actually do a whole discussion just on the nature of handheld consoles and why it is I feel, and the history and the knowledge of why handhelds took off so hard. But the DS was the number 2 slot, because handhelds, the kind of video games you could play in your hand, on the fly, on the run, were always big. You ever played the original Game Boy? Like physically, actually, I don't mean like on an emulator or on like, you know, the Switch or something else like that on your Steam Deck. I mean physically held a Game Boy and played it on the go. The Game Boy kind of sucked. I get a lot of negative flack for that, but that's okay because what it really was it was a wonderful first step. It ate batteries like no tomorrow, and it had no backlight at all unless you got a little accessory for it. So you had to hold it up to the light at an angle, too. You had to hold it at the right angle, because if it was the wrong angle, you just couldn't see anything. But there were good games on the Game Boy, and they got even better as the Game Boy came out. And most importantly of all, you could play it on the go. The sheer fact that you could play video games on the fly, on the run, without being attached to a TV, was a game changer. Everybody tried to emulate, mimic, and failed at trying to follow through on the Game Boy. The Game Boy was then followed, of course, by the Game Boy Advance. And, well, actually, no, it was then the Game Boy Color, which was basically just a better Game Boy. And then there was the Game Boy Advance. And then there was the Game Boy SP. And then, finally, we reached the DS in 2004. I ran you through that real quick thing there, because I wanted you to understand that the DS didn't come out of nowhere. The market already existed and was already hungry for good handheld support. And Nintendo was killing it. Absolutely destroying the competition, arguably still to this very day, with regards to the handheld market. And it makes sense. A lot of people wanted to be able to play games without being glued to their TV. It is one of the biggest reasons why this is actually the best-selling console of all time, if you get into technicalities. So, The handheld was like, hey, play games, real games, cool, awesome, fun. And Nintendo did something very, very smart with their handhelds, and they never stopped doing that. They've always 100% thrown a huge amount of R&D, time, and development, and willingness to back off of ideas into the handheld market. It's pretty much the reason the Switch is the way it is. And so each handheld really is just a better version of the previous one. And the fact that they all had reverse compatibility, even better. Because remember, GBA games, that is to say Game Boy Advance games, were still coming out in 2004. But it's okay, because you could play them on your DS. And so you get your DS, and you have your whole GBA library, and all the new DS ones. And that really was kind of a game changer. That level of backwards compatibility. The GBA had it too, I should probably mention. But that level of backwards compatibility was just a game changer. So, you have that. You have, this is now the mid-aughts. Video games have pretty much officially taken off at this point. We're past that point. And so now, you add in one other little factor on top of all of this. The core Nintendo development team, which is usually referred to as Nintendo EAD, were shopping around ideas with regards to their core titles. And Sunshine had already come out and just smashed everything in the face. But if you remember, and we talked about this when we reviewed Mario Sunshine was still kind of a rough and troubled production line. And in fact, that led to several changes behind the scenes. And one of the most common consequences was a lot of people in the development team, in EAD, were all like, I wish we could do it better. And that's an easy thing to understand. It's a dangerous thought if you let it go too far. But it's easy to understand for any creative type. Have you ever written something, drawn something, made a song, made a program, did a project for school or work or just for your own fun? And sometime down the line, you look back at it and you're like, man, I wish I could have done better than that. Or maybe you've learned more since then, and you're like, oh, God, why didn't I do such and such with that? And there's just that desire to go back and redo it. This is easy to understand if you've ever heard of Star Wars and the Special Edition. Zlartek one, Sean. So it's a very easy to understand mentality. It is a very dangerous one, because it's very easy for it to go too far. But I do argue, personally, that it is okay, within reason, to have that urge. And a lot of Nintendo EAD had learned so much with Mario Sunshine and in the intervening years since 64. At this point, it had been almost a decade, I think. Actually, hang on, let me double check that something really quick here. Let me double check some timings here. Okay, it wasn't quite a decade, but it had been about 8 years since Mario 64 had come out. They had learned a lot of lessons and moved forward a lot. The third element here, we've got the DS, which is critical success number one. We've got developers who want to go back and redo their previous works. And the final element here is a little game called Pokemon Fire Red / Leaf Green. Now, Fire Red, for those of you not aware of that, Fire Red and Leaf Green is a proper remake. A term that arguably didn't even exist before it, because video game remakes weren't really a thing back then. You can and should argue that remakes are a bit of a plague on the gaming industry right now, especially if you happen to be a fan of The Last of Us. Let me throw some shade on that. But there's nothing wrong, really, with a good, proper remake. And yeah, the Gen 3 Pokemon games took Gen 1 and just ran with it. The definition of a proper remake is so let's walk this out here in case you ever aren't aware of this. So there's a port, which is obvious. You take an older game and you make it playable on modern systems. Boom. That's it. Just make it playable. GOG does that a lot, for example. Preferably not Elizar, but yes is the answer to your question. Yeah, Ocarina 3D is, well, then you have your remasters. Remasters are usually taking the game and make it playable on a new system, but with a few additional bells and whistles, usually minor cosmetic changes, bug fixes or control fixes, or most importantly, graphics. Graphics are almost always the things that people will touch up when it comes to a remaster. We played one just a couple weeks ago, Starcraft Remastered, and that is a remastered game. And it did have a few additional quality of life features that got some notification. But yeah, that's Ocarina 3D, exactly. That's more common. But a remake is much less common, because a remake takes the original and runs with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be different, but at the same time, it usually is. A remake doesn't just say, here's the same game again. A remake takes a look at all of the intervening stuff that's happened since then and says, let's go ahead and make a new game based on the previous game. And that's the Gen 3 remakes of Gen 1 for Pokemon. Now, as Ross pointed out, that can be good or bad, as anybody who's a fan of the Lufia series can tell you. But the Gen 3 remakes nailed it. I would honestly argue, and I'm probably wrong about this, but playing through Fire Red was such a... I can't even explain it. It was weird enjoying a Pokemon game that much, because up until then, I was just kind of like, okay, sure. And it was just kind of a neat little fun thing to do on the side. But it wasn't really something I got into, not until that particular edition. And I was just like, oh my god, this is actually fun. And they added so many additional quality of life features and shortcuts, and they smoothed out the leveling curve, and you get it, right? It's crazy. It's crazy all the stuff they did to improve it, and a lot of those lessons were learned going forwards, and we still see evidence of that to this very day. I actually have never played Pokemon Emerald Spartan. So that was a big deal, and most importantly of all, it sold well. And I know what you're thinking. Jeez, here he goes with the money talk. But it is important to note, because it was executives. Let me say that word more clearly. Money people. If you've never heard me use that phrase, the money people refer to the people at a company who actually make the decisions. They're the ones who actually decide what a company does. Creative types usually are not the money people. Who the money people are varies from company to company. Sometimes it's members of the board. Sometimes it's particularly influential shareholders. Sometimes it's the only person who actually bothers to show up for the meetings. Sometimes it's a CEO. Sometimes it's a CFO. Sometimes it's a COO, etc., etc. Hence the generic term, money people. Money people don't care about anything other than whether or not something sells, generally speaking. But they're the ones who decide whether or not you get to make something or not. And the money people at Nintendo saw Fire Red and Leaf Green and said, oh wow, that sold bonkers well. And so they started being a little bit more accepting of certain types of projects. Now I should mention, the game we're about to play was already in development prior to that. But that's why I say it's the third, least important, but still third element of what happened going into this game. Because this game actually had a lot of support behind the hood. I'm going to kind of do something unusual and not summarize the behind the scenes, because pretty much every major developer involved with Nintendo, with Mario 64, had at least one hand in the remake we are about to play. They threw themselves into this. They even pushed it back in terms of development several times. You know how serious they were about this? This is going to sound strange, but hear me out for a second. It released in the States first. And if you don't understand how unusual that is for a Nintendo game, think about it for a minute. Now, this game, of course, sold extremely well. This is one of the best-selling DS games of all time, and is like in, I think, like the top 100 range of best-selling games of all time. Yeah, nowadays, simultaneous releases have become the norm. Back then, releasing in Japan first and using that as literally a beta test to release in the States was pretty normal. We actually have seen this for several of the games we already covered, including the aforementioned Ocarina of Time. And Mario 64, by the way. But here, we're going to go and release it here, and this is a remake. Now, whether it's a proper remake or not, we're going to have to decide as we go. But that does run into one of the only problems this game ever has. One of the only negative things I have to say before we actually jump into it. And that is, how many of you knew this was a remake before I told you it was? No judgment, by the way. Because if there's one thing Nintendo tends to fail at, especially at this period in history, it's marketing. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm in such a good mood. I have grabbed one of my... This is actually our second to last seltzer water. And I'm going to go ahead and enjoy it for this day. But you're probably wondering, what could possibly make this game better than the N64 version?
Mario.
Does everything answer that question? But hang on. The part that really threw several people is this. And then you can just warp and distort whatever the heck you actually did. I should probably mention this was one of the launch titles of the DS. And the touchpad is the same problem that everything has when it comes to new tech at Nintendo. Sometimes they use it to good effect. Mostly they don't. To be just completely blunt about that. Lots of weird stuff like this with it. But yeah, it was behold the touchpad, and they were just like, oh my god, behold the touchpad. Ooh.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle. I've baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
Fun side fact, they actually brought back the original actress for Peach for that. By this point in time, historically, they had moved on to a new actress for her. They brought her back just for this. So this is the exact moment that people realize it's not just Mario 64. Or at least that's when I realized it.
Let's go.
Seriously, when I plopped my game in, I was expecting this, just like all the rest of you, to just be a port of Mario 64. And then this happens, and I'm like, wait, what? Come to think of it, that mustache man hasn't returned. What would happen to him? Ah, who cares? So as you can tell, the textures are pretty much different top to bottom. And that makes sense because there are textures. For those of you who don't remember, Mario 64 does not have textures for the most part. It just had, oh god, I forget what that's called. Object color, right? Like this thing I'm standing on would just be like gray, and then this would be like green. And not really an actual texture design. Also, this grass is still better than Secret of the Stars grass. I mean, yes, obviously the N64 version had textures. It kind of had to. But I mean, do I need to make my point here? Or have I succeeded by sheer virtue of showing you the screen that we're on right now? Do I need to pull up the N64 version to make my point? I'll do it. I'm crazy. So, big, green, vibrant area. Natural flow and progression of the level. Fun stuff pretty much top to bottom. Great tutorial. New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. And New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS. Those are the only two I have not 100%ed. Oh yeah, you can actually control Yoshi with the touchpad. I forgot to actually even show this off. It's not a control method I recommend doing. If someone told me that this controlled worse than the N64 version, I would agree with them wholeheartedly. Because this is terrible. And I'm using a mouse. Remakes can be cheaper. Because it's a little bit different. The thing is, and this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand, is making a remake is still making a new game. The catch is the blueprints are already there, right? So you already have an idea of where the game's going and what the game's doing, both story-wise and gameplay-wise. But you still have to make that level, and you still have to write that story, and you still have to code the script, triggers, and blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but you've already got the blueprint. So that can make it quicker and cheaper. It can also make it more expensive, depending. It's also worth noting that the DS was kind of the era of the proper remake in many ways, for all the reasons already mentioned. You know, developers being like, oh, this is great, and, you know, this is something we can do, and blah, blah, blah. And there were several DS proper remakes as a direct consequence of this, including the aforementioned Heart Gold and Soul Silver. We might actually give brickwork positives this time around. We didn't to the N64 version. Because, you know, one of the things I like most about this stage? It's the same thing I like about a lot of early Nintendo stages. A lot of Mario stages, I should say. It's a tutorial without really needing the text boxes. Now, they're there. There are actually text boxes. Like that. That just tell you how to use some things. And there's the Bob-Ombs at the beginning who tell you stuff. But if you don't speak the language, you still understand the game. That's one of the golden rules I tend to use for good tutorialization. If I can't read, for whatever reason, can I still understand how to play the game just by playing the game? Embarrassing admission. I didn't realize that you could talk to all these people and get the text from them until, like, God, my 5th time replaying this version. That is to say, the N64 version. No, come back. Come back. Oh my god. Stop running from me. There we go. I love that sound effect, by the way. I can't even emulate it. Yet the top 6 reasons why Mario games have always sucked. Number 3 will surprise you. Why Nintendo secretly hates me. This one weird trick that'll convince you that all the games you loved as a child secretly sucked. And then, literally the next week, this one weird trick to convince you that all the games you loved as a kid are actually awesome. You know my favorite thing about all that nonsense? They don't mean any of it. I mean, I guess that sounds like a duh. But at the same time, it's kind of what irritates me the most about it. They don't mean any of it. They're just lying. I mean, you know, I guess duh. You know, lying to generate clicks. Like, at least if you have a controversial opinion, actually have the frickin' opinion, right? For example, I don't like Dark Souls. And I don't. But I actually have that opinion. That's not like, oh man, I need to generate some interest in my content. I've got it. I secretly hate puppies. I suppose it could be worse. I could be selling beer. If you get it, you get it. Yep, just lost another half of my viewers. That's the goal. I'm just trying to I almost said kill off. Get rid of all of my viewers. Then I'll be free. Free of this endless curse. I was cursed by the stream. Oh, god dang it. Cursed as a young lad. It's one of those monkey paw situations. Man, I sure wish I could play video games for a living. Monkey paw curls. Listen, if Miyamoto wanted me to walk, he would have given me wings. Are you kidding me? I'm not even sure what happened there. Okay. I think I give up on using the touchpad. That is exactly as terrible as that sounds. Oh my god. See, that I would believe. Mario Wonder literally gave me cancer. And is also Hitler. At the same time. Well, that was a worthwhile one-up. Yeah, one time I bought Mario Wonder, and then my niece said she would never wanted to see me ever again, and then I immediately killed myself. And when I woke up, I was playing Mario 64. Jesus! That Goomba needs a frickin' raise. Yes, I am implying that Mario 64 is hell. I also didn't score it particularly highly when we reviewed it. Nor did I expect to. I just want to get everybody as dizzy as possible. Oh, thank God, I got Seth to vomit. Guys, we did it. We did it. Sorry, Seth. I'm so sorry, Seth. Beaten by a pipsqueak like you? How'd that happen? Is it just the Goombas fight to lose? Not until I make the Mario 4X. The Goombas are going to be a whole faction. It's going to be great. I mean, yeah, I agree, Melkor. If I could be blunt for a second, you know how I quit doing lore runs? Do you know why I quit doing lore runs? It's because I ran out of things to do lore runs about. And I saw that coming years in advance and kind of prepped for it, and that's one of the reasons why I do reviews now, is because I sort of shifted my business model over to doing something that I had a little more repeat content on. I have a feeling that most people who do YouTube videos and or streams don't really think about things like that. It doesn't occur to them to say that eventually they're going to just start running out of things to say, right? So they make up crap. They're like, oh yeah, no, here's a in-depth essay on the coin model, 20-minute video talking about this coin model, and it's just, it's very yellow. And then they just say that for 20 minutes. Now that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but no. That really is just as bad as that is. Some of the video essayers out there, not all of them, but some of them are just absolutely ridiculous with some of the content they come up with, because they have completely run out of content. And yeah, exactly, Saberboy. It's always like, here's how the coin changed Mario forever. Something they will not even answer within the video in question. Anyways, so speaking of which, I hope you look forward to my new upcoming lore boxes. Every time you purchase one, it'll give you 3 lore points, which may contain, which you can eventually use to redeem for one particular lore tidbit of your choice. It may also contain a random lore tidbit of your choice, or a cosmetic lore tidbit. It's okay, because you're not actually paying for the service, you're paying for the cosmetics, so that makes it alright. Can I beat Mario 64 while collecting every coin? Actually, you know what's really messed up? This Mario 64, the original, is such a well-known game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that we know exactly how many unique coins are in the game. Don't ask me the number, I don't know it off the top of my head, but it is a known value. So, one of the things that this game does share with its predecessor is the terrible, terrible camera. The problem here is the camera's trying to keep you at a relative angle all the time. And that is a problem, because if you're trying to do something precision-wise and the camera's moving on you, well, your input is relative to the camera. So you're just kind of guessing at where you're actually going, because you can't fully see because of the isometric problem, a problem we will actually bring up and give many negatives to when it comes to Mario 3D World. Mario 3D World is a great game, but that isometric problem is awful in that game. God damn! I just can't steer to the right for some reason. That's actually kind of strange. The worst wiki I've ever seen? Oh, jeez. I'd have to think about that. The meme answer would be Memory Alpha, but no, there's worse than that. Yeah, no, I've seen some wikis that are just trash. There's just no information. And it's just a page saying, like, imagine pulling up a wiki of the level we're on right now, and you just see a link to... There it is. Thank you. And you just see a link that says Bob-Omb Battlefield. And the page is just the text, Bob-Omb Battlefield, and like 15 ads. I feel like we're right here. Hey, it's right there. Holy crap. Okay. All I have to do is lift 2 heavy things. We're good. Excuse me, Sushi. There, have some sushi, everyone. Oh my god, Seastar! Are you okay? Let's do it. It was heavier than it looked. In fact, it is the 3rd game from the bottom in this pile, in this stack. Still, if I use clear plastic totes, and other than like cosmetics, the reason I do that is that way I can stack my games in them so that they're out like this, right? So I can just look at the bin and see where my games are. Here's my proof, Nintendo. Alright, so I'm gonna grab my 3DS here. I have a Mario as front and center, and it's called Mario 64 DS. But, like, Yoshi, come on. Give the boy some credit, that's all I'm saying. We must kill Mario. Mario's secret middle name is, put it here. It's Chaos. Mario, Chaos, Mario. So, that's pretty much the crazy thing right there. Like, the difference is jarring. And if it doesn't look jarring, allow me to elucidate. So you see how it looks right now, right? Well, look what happens when I hit this button. This is what it looked like initially. And this is what we're actually running at. Which is a little silly, honestly, like I said. Not hearing any glitching. So that's good. So I think we're sold. You said we can convert saves, Valerian? Because I could just redo those 11 stars, but I'd honestly kind of rather not. If we can't, I'm going to assume we can't, and we're just going to go forward as if we can't. You know, try to get past this. But for those of you who just saw... So this is Bob-Omb Battlefield, the first stage of the game. It serves as a really good tutorial for everything you really need to know about the game. Camera control, movement. No fun allowed.
Me, Mario.
Okay, so... Right, let's continue playing the game as if nothing happened. Oh god, the ice level. Okay, so, by memory, my niece hates me.
Hello?
And wants me to die.
No.
For some reason. Why do you hate me so?
I don't.
What's up, kiddo?
I have come for your candy.
She's stealing my candy, which is funny, because she just got a box of candy for Halloween, and she's come for my candy. Okay, so this says... Refreshing... it says, Pachipa Panic. Your mouth will be filled with laughter. Refreshing soda flavored. Cola is.
Cola is.
Cola is.
I guess it's backwards day.
And on the back, it says, Caution for parents. The candy is sealed with compressed gas. If it comes into contact with water, the gas may cause the candy to burst. When giving candy to children, be careful not to lick the candy in their mouth.
What? What? I guess I won't lick the candy in my mouth. I'll keep it.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Compressed air.
The compressed air will explode.
Candy contains compressed air.
Here you go.
Do not lick in their mouth.
And then I die right there on stream. Evo says hi. She says hi. And now, Evo, what you should say is hi. And then she can say hi. And we just get into a loop. Yep, no, Evo just said hi.
Hi.
Yep, no, we're in a loop. We're in a loop. We failed. We're done. We're done. She says to share this picture with you.
Hi.
She says hi.
Looks yummy.
She says it looks yummy. Yeah, 30 go too high. How are they? Excellent. Apparently they taste like food, which is good because there are other things that food can taste like, and I'm not sure we want that to be a thing. I can't believe I just did that. It could taste like soda, but I mean, what is soda if not liquid food? Come here, penguin. We got a date with the bottom of this mountain. Oh, jeez. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. What is water if not tortured sugar? Wait, what is soda if not tortured sugar? Could you shut up, please, you stupid penguin? Oh, God. I could still recover if I hadn't jumped. Well, that's what I'm doing with the penguin, Yura.
Yes, let's alive.
That was always the plan. What is rain but torture? Okay, there's the star. Should we do it? Should we do it? I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but should we do it?
Yeah.
Okay. She says we should do it. She says we should do it. She says we should do it. Goodbye. It stopped crying. Into the
Rose
abyss. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? We're done. That's true, you just saw a video of me killing youngling. Singular, not plural. I shouldn't be so greedy, but I'm gonna be super greedy. And then go flying off into my death. Ooh, photos, that's a good one. What are photos if not tortured light?
Oh.
There's a line in a video game which says, what is glass if not tortured sand? And we've been making fun of it ever since because it's such a dumb line. So it's like, what are photos if not tortured light? What is water or what is ice if not tortured water? Yeah, what does it even mean? I don't know. What is a
I
man?
forgot what the stuff in Greek was called.
The what? Hydrogen? Wait, do we breathe out hydrogen? I actually don't remember. We breathe out something. What is drawing if not tortured paper? What is drawing if not tortured paper? What is drying if not tortured paper? I give up. Have you seen my baby? No.
Yeah, we definitely.
Yeah, it's fine. She's fine. Everything's fine. Do not worry about the baby.
No, it's the trash can person. It's fine.
What is light if not tortured darkness? Considering Kingdom Hearts setting, that makes perfect sense. I think that's just the internet in general, Mr. Red. Yeah, first I gotta get the wings, but then yes. I didn't really want the wings, honestly. Behold the power. Yeah, this is kind of new too, by the way. What? Okay. That the arc, the timing, that was just perfect, is what that was. That was perfect. I could not have done that on purpose. Just plummet. Hey. Okay, that I could have done on purpose. But at least I know where it is now. Ah, death. I get all nostalgic when I die, you know? Reminds me of the first time I died. I must have been a wee lad. Fine. I'll do it before 3D World. Because I don't want to interrupt the line of the new series. New 1, new we, new 2, new you, wonder. That really should be one line. So, fine. We'll do 3D Land before 3D World. So we're playing Galaxy next. Although, see, under normal circumstances, I'll be like, why don't we go ahead and do like a minimal run of Sunshine? But the problem with that is, if you know Mario Sunshine, one of the problems with the game is that there really isn't such a thing. You kind of have to beat each stage all the way through in order to just do the MSQ. That is something I actually dinged the game for. So I'm going to get... So since dinner is ready, I'm going to go ahead and grab this star, and then we're going to cut off. I'm going to have to do some cleanup and some thinking. I don't think we're going to replay Sunshine, but I will admit I'm debating redoing 2, 3. I haven't decided yet. It's something I'm still chewing on. Like, none of those are long games, you know? Unlike Sunshine, which would be an ordeal to redo. Those are nice and short and quick, and it might not be a bad way to recheck my thoughts and reanalyze and just make sure I'm still on the same page that I was a year or two ago whenever we did those. Yeah, exactly, Ross. You never know, the score might even change. Perfect. Because let's be honest, it's going to be a bump in the road, so to speak. Oh, God. Hi. You'll get no more stars from me. I'm not done with you yet, but I'll let you go for now. You'll pay for this. Later. Yes, so long, Bowser. A.K.A. so long, King Bowser, which is what he's actually saying. And between a combination of accent, speaking quickly, and sound compression, people like to say that he's saying so long, Gay Bowser. For the curious. Actually, what's funny is for the longest time I thought he meant so long gay. As in, just kind of adding that extra AE on top of so long. So long, Gay Bowser. I was wrong, of course. That is not what was being said, but like I said, that's what I assumed. So, tell me what this picture says right here. The thing that's currently being covered by booze. If anybody gives me an accurate answer to that, I will put $1 towards the game of your choice. So, I'm just going to give this away because none of you are going to get it. It's one of those things where if you know the answer, then you know the answer. Because we have actually finally, as recently as just a couple years ago, had one of the developers reach out and say, hey, here's what it says. What it says is absolutely nothing. It is deliberate gibberish as a way they put it in the game as a joke. That's also one of the reasons why it's the exact same image in Ocarina of Time. You know, because Ocarina of Time actually shared a lot of assets with Mario 64. So it is a literal random string of letters and numbers. It doesn't mean anything. Sorry for ruining your hopes and dreams. Lorerunner. Ghosts don't die. Actually, they say die several times in this game. It's kind of strange. I don't know why, but it did kind of seem to slip past the censors for some reason. Yeah, the biggest problem with YouTube, and I've actually said this before, I don't think this is controversial, I don't think this is polemic, is they're trying to make money off of YouTube. You might say, well, yeah, but no, I mean, like, you know how we were talking earlier about how some solutions aren't obvious at times, and you can't apply the same thing to every model? YouTube just doesn't, by the very nature of what it is, doesn't lend itself towards making money. Honestly, I agree with that sentence, Dakota. I honestly and legitimately think that YouTube is a measure of archiving, historical archiving, and therefore is the kind of thing that should be maintained or retained, regardless of financial profitability. Yeah, no, this is a public transportation kind of a thing. For both directions. If you're like, well, the trains don't make money, so we're going to shut them down, that's obviously bad. But also, trains don't make money because they allow other things to make money. They are a magnifier. I forget what the proper financial term is for that, but they boost the profitability of other things. It is quite, I would say without hyperbole that YouTube at this point in time arguably qualifies as a utility. And I mean that. Yeah, no, YouTube is important for education. It's important for historical archiving. It is important for governmental access. It is important for... God, I can't even start. I can't even start. And that all of that's completely and deliberately ignoring entertainment value. Despite what some people think, I'm not anti-money. But I do tend to lean anti-corporate simply because I understand a little bit too much about how corporations operate. And all you need is one guy in a suit somewhere having one particularly bad day, or suggesting an idea that they may not even want to happen. And everyone's like, yeah, sure, let's go on with it. It's like, okay. Sure, that's a terrible idea. I mean, I admittedly am a little bit biased in this matter, because I obviously rely on at least a portion of my business for YouTube. But by the exact same token, I'm not exactly the only person who leans on YouTube for financial solvency. You know? That's frankly, that's not a small list of people who rely on YouTube for money. I don't even mean just directly. Again, YouTube is a, whatever that's called, an amplifier. There are people who make money not directly off of YouTube, but because of what YouTube can do to allow them to push their actual business. Frankly, kind of like me, admittedly. I don't make money off of YouTube. At all. I never have. But I know a lot of people would probably stop supporting me if I stopped having those VODs up, you know, if they could no longer consume my content anyway other than being here live. Even as far back as Mario 1, you didn't have to do every stage to beat the game. Which, I know this is going to sound strange, but was considered, like, games that came out after Mario 1 didn't have that kind of gameplay design. To put that as bluntly as I can. So, the idea of allowing you to pick and choose which levels you want to do was kind of awesome, right? Like, Mega Man allows you to change the order of the stages, but you still have to do all 8 stages to progress, right? Yeah, Redfall was a mess, top to bottom. One of those games that, for lack of a way to put it, deserved to be bad. Not that I think ill of the developers, but more like... You know, I talk about Jurassic Park games, aka, so to explain this, there's Star Wars games, and then there's Jurassic Park games. A Star Wars game is where everything just got extremely lucky. You know, the pieces were not in place, nobody even knew what the hell they was doing, and it just kind of lucked into massive success. The Jurassic Park is when all the pieces are there, and it successfully managed to nail it. It just had a fantastic success. Redfall is like an inverse Jurassic Park, in that all the pieces were there for it to suck as much as humanly possible. I think they meant Titanic, you know, the boat, not the film. Because, yeah, if you've ever looked into the Titanic, that boat was going to crash. It was all the pieces were there for that boat to sink. Anybody who knew all the pieces in place, you know, knew what the boat was going out in a condition of, knew that boat was going straight to hell. Yeah, this ship is uncrashable, unsinkable. It's called the IMS Hubris. Sorry. Hell, I'm just a dinky little nobody-nothing YouTuber, or excuse me, streamer. Even I will tell you, don't ever publicly announce something as such and such, because all you're doing is cursing yourself. Not in the supernatural way, that's unrelated. Wish list? Okay, I know I'm coming across as cynical today, but I want to say with total sincerity, you know what my wish list is for BlizzCon? Any good news whatsoever. Anything. Anything at all. That's my realistic wish list. Not joking, not memeing. For BlizzCon. That's what I want. I want one good thing. I don't want more Diablo Immortal news, because you know there's going to be some. I don't care about D4. WoW Classic isn't my thing. Yeah, wish list. Suckitude reduction. Electric Boogaloo. Alright, yeah, I can't wait for all that Warcraft Rumble news. We've already got 500 million players of Warcraft Rumble. And we've made all this extra money. Wow, that makes this a lot less frustrating. I remember when this star was really, really irritating to get. Because of camera angles and bad controls. Yeah, how many of you have done this star on the original N64 version? Except for the controls, Inosians. And failed at the step of getting up here because of how slanted that roof is. And so you do the crawl method. How many of you know about the crawl method to get that star I just got? Oh no! Oh, thank God. Look, actual mid-mission checkpoints, too. I'm the Big Boo, the spookiest of all the spirits. I lucked up the wimpy green mustache man, and I'll do the same to you. Since I'm a ghost, I can turn invisible in the mirror's reflection. You'll have to attack me from behind to defeat me, but if you'll die of fright before that ever happens, and then you'll be one of us. No. Oh yeah, by the way, fun fact, this is a retroactive origin story for King Boo. I'm not actually joking about that. If you remember, in Luigi's Mansion, which predates this game, he actually mentions that he is specifically going after us for revenge about what happened. And they're like, you know what, why don't we explain that? So they added this into the DS version. So yes, this is that King Boo, the one from the Luigi's Mansion series. And naturally he kidnaps Luigi, because references. There's actually a weird amount of continuity in the mainline Marios. Weird in the sense that it's there and it's mostly background stuff in ways you'd never really think about. I actually looked it up recently for unrelated reasons. Can anyone guess when Bowser first started getting characterization? Because we could point to a specific date, in fact month, of when that started being a thing. Yeah, it was the comic. The comic was in reaction to World, but the comic is the beginnings of a lot of things. I've talked about that before. It's when Bowser started becoming Bowser. Oh, stretch. And it's when Peach started developing. It's when Luigi started developing. Like all the character traits we consider now for the characters all tie back, all the way back to that first comic in January of '92. Funny to think about. How many of you were younger than that? You don't have to answer. Just food for thought. Thought about it, Sarani. Thought about it. I love the smell of roast penguin in the morning. I wonder what penguin tastes like. I mean, yeah, no, I agree. The teleport itself was a little bit obtuse, but a tree with a red coin on it, which is an indicator, which is like, hey, here's something you can interact with, is not a bad way to indicate that there's a way to get back up. So, not the worst idea in the world. I really want that, so I think I'm going to go for it. Oh my god. I do think some save states count as cheating. Like, let's say I'm fighting a boss, and I hit the boss, and then he hits me, and he kills me, and I'm like, oh shoot, and then I reload a save, which I did just before the hit. And then he attacks me, and it's like, oh, he kills me, but then he hits me again, and I'm like, okay, that wasn't a crit. Because I save scummed his attack, right? There you go, that's cheating. Although, in the interest of fairness, or yeah, exactly, Charani. In the interest of fairness, I will also state that there's not really a lot of difference between what you normally call save scumming and what I just described. Like in Baldur's Gate 3, to use an immediate example, you can do exactly what I just described, and that's not considered cheating, that's just a normal part of the game. Or Half-Life. Hell, Starcraft 1 and 2. So yeah, I don't feel overly bad about doing some specific types of save states in a game like this. I do think it's case by case, though. Do I agree? Yes. By the way, just speaking of quality of life features, did you notice that each level, you can actually change who you're starting as? Just if you're starting as Yoshi. Just a nice little quality of life feature. Nice shot! Went right over it.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Don't think about the fact that that's the infinite void below you there. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. If you slip so much as 1 inch, you'll die! Literally. I think that's it for the initial stages. So we need Wario for that. We need Wario for that. We need Wario for that, unless we glitch. And that's everything at the moment. So let's go ahead and go down. Down to the basement. We're done with the good stages. Now time for the ones that are not going to score as well. Unfortunately, I did in fact see the Spidey's cartoon show from the 90s. And Eddie Brock suddenly becoming this gigantic muscular Hulkster by doing like just basic presses. Which always irritated me. Because as a kid I was like, oh, that's all it takes? Sweet! Started rotating that into my my exercise regime. And found out very quickly that's not actually how that works. I was lied to by a cartoon, anarcho-anarchist. I will never forgive that. There is one other star we could get while we're here. Should we do it? Should we do it? This is slower, but in a good way, if that makes any sense. This thing controls like absolute ass on the N64 version. And it's relatively easy for it to crash and then plummet, and then you have to start all over. This might not be as bad as I remember. Holy crap! A stage being improved by a remake? So we're gonna do my old technique for getting over this stupid thing, which is just nope. Oh, Jesus. Wasn't ready for that with Luigi. Okay, I actually didn't see what happened there. Because I just got sub-bombed, so my eyes were over there on the chat. So could someone tell me what just happened? Because I literally didn't see it. I landed on the edge of the slope. God damn it! No, it's okay, just the timing of that Dark Prince. Like, oh, there's a sub. Why am I on the floor? Was pretty much what went through my head there. Okay, I was gonna, like, get here and then say thank you, because I didn't want to miss this. But this is, Damn, okay, we're good, we made it. I do like Death Doom. I use that phrase a lot. In fact, the full phrase is, in fact, Darth Death Doom. What happened there? Okay, real talk, aside from me screwing up all over the place, this was nowhere near as bad as I remember. I think the changes to the elevator down below made that a lot less frustrating. It is boring now instead of frustrating. But honestly, I'll take boring over frustrating. It is still finicky. This world still sucks. And thus, Luigi fulfills his lifelong dream. Okay. The true Mario 64 experience. Missing by an inch. Tell me I'm wrong. What? You little... the flying is a little bit smoother than it was, yeah. What? I had to do that on mute, too, because I couldn't... I was on the phone, obviously, so I couldn't hear the game.
Let's go.
Oh my god, I'm unmuted? Thanks for telling me! I wouldn't have known that I'm unmuted, if not for the fact that you told me I'm unmuted. Sorry. It's just that disappointment. Where's my hat? Oh, poor Luigi. So in case you missed that, I was stun locked and animation locked, and the Bob-Omb just kept pushing me, because that's what Bob-Ombs do.
Let's go.
And he pushed me right into the death plane. Game. Game. Game, game, game. What are you doing, game? What are you doing, game? There you go. Jesus Christ. That was a little harrowing. For those of you not aware, there's an instant death plane right below where I just was, so if I slipped down the pyramid, I would have instantly died. Yeah, lava is not instant death, and I know this sounds like such a weird thing to fixate on, but the mere fact that the lava is not instant death makes this stage a lot better.
Oh yeah.
I'm dead serious. In fact, one of the benefits of it, in addition to the fact that it's not instant death, which is already, like, more gradient difficulty, which I'm already more in favor of, is it also, by nature of what it is, gives you a chance to recover. Watch this. Now, it's probably not super obvious, but you have control when you're in the air like that. So, the fact that it gives you a super jump to help recover with, which is itself kind of difficult to maneuver, but is still something that's in the control of the player, that's awesome. So, yeah, no, Lethal Lava Land is great, and at least part of it is because of the fact that it isn't punishing you with killing you instantly and forcing you to restart the stage the moment that you, you fail, the moment that you fall, or slip, or slide, or interact with the geometry in a weird way. Like that right there, that would have been a death in other stages. So I want to say Anosian says comment out loud. Anosian says, I heard a lot of arguments that in the earlier stages, especially Frost Peak, should have introduced a non-lethal death plane like this one, which would have made progression smoother.
Let's go.
I agree completely. I do think that that would have been something that would have really smoothed out a lot of the issues with some of the earlier stages. Womp's Fortress kind of has that issue, but as you point out, that frickin' ice stage is by far the worst offender to that. I unironically tend to dislike that ice stage, and when I'm doing just a 70-star run, completely ignore it if I can, because it's just so frustrating having to deal with instant death if you slip. In fact, if you were paying attention. Earlier, we did exactly that in order to try and bypass a slip. We used our only save state so far, specifically to bypass that problem. Yeah, that's another thing. Heals are all over the place. Any level that has water also has a built-in health refill mechanic, because health and breath are tracked as the same metric in this game. Later games would add breath as a separate bar, but here, all you need to do is go underwater and then regain your air, and that heals you to full. That's only really helpful in like 2 stages, but it is interesting to know. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to happen, Luigi. Thank you for doing that. I will say this, doing a glance at a couple of things on Sunshine would take much less time, and we don't actually have to beat the game to do. Because we have actually changed how we categorize a couple of things since then. But only a couple, so we don't actually have to replay the whole game, right? Oh, come on, Luigi! You're killing me, and also yourself. But mostly me, who matters more than you. Jesus, Luigi. You deserve this, Luigi. I'm just gonna let you die. Just die, Luigi. You deserve that. The main thing about Sunshine, from a zoomed-out perspective, obviously individual levels suck, individual shines suck. That's neither here nor there. But Sunshine does 2 things, one very right and one very wrong. The very right is actually on the story axis. The brickwork, atmosphere, music, and visuals, as well as the the NPC set dressing is honestly top-notch. Delfino Plaza actually feels like a plaza, and most places have a vibe to them that you can just kind of gel with, right? They have, honestly, really good brickwork, and, like I said, good NPC set dressing. Where it fails at is on the gameplay axis. Hey, Control-Alt-Fail. On the gameplay axis, obviously, a lot of the missions are very experimental, in a bad way. A lot of the ideas that later 3D Marios would take and run with were actually invented in Sunshine. But, part of the problem, too, is that they're mandatory. One of the best parts about 64 is if you don't really want to do a particular star, you don't have to. There's very, 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 very few stars that are actually mandatory in Mario 64. In Sunshine, most of the major stars are mandatory because of how the game is structured. Unless you use tricks or speedrunner glitches, which, for the purposes of review, do not count. I accept this. There it is. It's just for you, Innocent. I mean, come on, even the music. Okay, real talk. I am suddenly in the mood to replay Sunshine. I don't know why. It's a mystery. I can't imagine why I'm having that vibe all of a sudden. Do you mind? What the hell? That Goomba. He deserves that pay raise. I mean, I don't think it really gets points for that, though, Friscoborn, because it's still a crap game. It's like saying, alright, fine. We're gonna finally start selling burgers at this burger joint, and they give you, like, an uncooked burger which has salmonella surgically implanted into the burger, and it's covered in raw egg and feces, and it's like, here you go. You're finally having a burger, and it's like, but can I have a good food instead? You know, I hate to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but this is another example of a stage that's improved by the fact that it doesn't have instant death bits everywhere. This is arguably better than the first Bowser's level in every way, because of that one change. That was the wrong button. I mean, ironically, this game will not get the first game tag, but, Mario 64 certainly would! Oh my god. That was actually impressive. Whoops. You know what? It's easier to die. It's so much easier to die. Suicide. Okay, cool. I should be able to just boop right over. Okay, you know what? I'll take that. That feels like a bullcrap, but I'll take it. Oh, Jesus. But I'll take it. Yeah, that was almost amusing. Again. Does this game control well? No. You know, honestly, Cashel, yes. The bike and Ride to Hell Retribution, and as a reminder, I've played that game thoroughly, so I can you give this opinion. Controls like I want you to imagine that you have to control a game by grabbing someone's butt, and whatever you do with their butt, they have to interpret, but they aren't on the controller either. They've got two sticks, and they're using them to poke the controller from like 3 feet away, and that's how you control Ride to Hell Retribution. I love this stage. Oh yeah, and the mushrooms have ice physics. In fact, the whole game has ice physics. Okay, fine. I'll take the message. Game. I'll go back downstairs. Let's take the shortcut. Well, that was effortless. Jesus Christ. No, the toads are usually aligned with the Mushroom Kingdom. So named for a reason. Are there any neutral characters? Yes? But the answer to that is probably just everyone. At that point. Which I know isn't quite what you're going for, but it's true. But what I mean by that is when you get to the games that actually have lore, which is where something like neutrality can be judged, the toads, for example, can be on any faction or no faction whatsoever, which sounds like neutral to me. Same with the Goombas, same with the Koopas, same with literally everyone else. Factions are factions. They're not done down species lines in lore. So, it's like saying, so are the humans good or evil? And it's like, well... You know? There we go. This is the worst stage in the game. Yeah, Rainbow Road is the perfect combination of boring and instant death, fail you, screw you. Yeah, it's also visually uninteresting, and it plays what I consider to be the second worst song in the game during it, which is the racing song. It's not necessarily a bad song by itself, to be completely honest, but think about this song and the pace of it and the irritation of it while playing a level this frustrating. This song does not fit this area. What they should have played for this area is the freaking underwater music, and I'm dead serious. This needed to be that kind of a, you know, light, trying to calm the nerves as you're going through this horrible, horrible level thing. And of course that song also has a long loop, which would help with the whole, you know, repetition problem, which we're already having. Yeah, this song is go, 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 go. Yeah, so Rainbow Road sucks. TikTok Clock is actually much better overall. They've also gotten rid of some of the instant death pits in this particular lineup. By the way, notice anything about the song currently playing? Yeah, another song, unsuited. Yeah, first of all, same frickin' song. As has been pointed out before, there's just not enough track variety in Mario 64. I will give Mario Sunshine this over Mario 64 every day of the week. At least every stage has its own frickin' soundtrack, right? Its own song. Also, Mario Sunshine actually has a pretty good soundtrack, all things considered. Also, I don't mean to complain, but you notice how the minimap is... Oh, you don't see it. So trust me when I say that the minimap is completely useless here. Yeah, no, because this is a completely vertical level. So, this is the minimap for this level. Not super helpful. On most stages, that minimap is at least worthwhile, but here it's just like, yeah, no. Yeah, there's a Luigi cap on the level. Somewhere. Good to know. You got it, Friscoborn. So this is Pong. There's 2 players. The AI on some versions of Pong is there. In most versions, it might as well not be. And, there's a paddle. The game's not responsive. Its HUD is disinteresting. Its graphics are not actually good. It actually has some glitches in how it's programmed. Yeah. There you go. If I gave a golden number to Pong, it'd probably be -3 or so. Not particularly bad, but definitely in the negatives. The deep lore of Pong. Eons ago, in the terrible... Why are you running from me? Stop running from me so I can kill you. In the deep mines of Taurus Terranae, the Pong Masters realized the terrible, terrible secret. They, too, were actually vulnerable to falling thousands of miles into a bottomless pit. And thus they came up with the paddle. With the power of the paddle, they will be able to deflect their own people from falling deep into the pit as they do their terrifying work in the middle, stabilizing the radioactive core that powers the universe. But every time one of those people is lost... I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Actually, I was actually going somewhere with that. Every time one of those people is lost, the person who failed them has to pay out. They have to pay out of their pocket to the families of the person who just died. That's how it becomes a competitive thing. You want to have the highest score by forcing the other person to lose their person. And so people are playing games with people's lives because this is secretly a dystopia. There you go. Boom. Done. Listen, he's just misunderstood. He's just greedy and, you know, misanthropic and, you know, just generally evil. But, you know, those kind of people, they're people too. Don't they deserve to have presents and bouncy castles and money? Don't they deserve all of our money? I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win. I'm also worse than the other guys in every way, but that's okay. President Blank McBlake face. President, I actually secretly leech the charisma out of the room simply by being in it. That guy.
Hello, Blizzard.
That is a terrifyingly fake smile. I've seen a lot of fake smiles in my life. Look at his face. Look at his teeth. Look at his teeth.
All of us.
What is wrong with this guy?
I love you too.
Is he human?
All
I want to stress this. We make fun of executives all the time. Because, you know, they're evil. But, like, President whatever his face is, he looks wrong. Like, he does not look like a human being. Yeah, he's just CEO of 5000. There's nothing to him. It was honestly, and I want to stress that I don't mean this as a dig. I mean this is a statement of fact. It was creepy. God. Yeah, when the Hearthstone lady went out, and she kept, you could literally tell in her speech where the script said, wait for audience reaction or wait for applause. And so she kept pausing, and then just nothing would happen. And then she'd keep talking, and that kept happening. Like, her whole speech, her whole presentation was just doing that over and over.
Well, I have a pretty good view from up here. It's really nice to see you all. We are thrilled.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Twice she has paused for audience reaction. And there has been none. Oh my god. I felt so bad for that lady. I will admit, from a purely selfish perspective, I hope D4 launch crashes and burns. And I do mean that with total sincerity. But not because I want it to fail or because I hate the game, but because I want someone to learn a goddamn lesson. And that someone is Huthor. Huthor, I need you to learn a lesson. Ugh. Right, we can go do all the Hazy Maze stuff now that we have access to Wario. Isn't that wonderful?
Whoa!
Yay! I mean, we're past the honeymoon period. We're past all the good stuff in Mario 64. It's all bad levels from here on out. So that's just our lives now. Yeah, Starcraft, did you notice that one of the only people who even mentioned Starcraft was Phil freaking Spencer?
Starcraft.
Oh my god, he acknowledged Starcraft existed. Also, did you notice the sound of the crowd to that?
Of what esports would eventually become. And with Starcraft,
Yeah, Starcraft founded esports and definitely nothing else.
evolution of games as live entertainment.
Oh my god.
Warcraft.
That sounds like a joke. Like, that sounds like the punchline of a joke. It's not. It's just the truth. The only one who mentioned Starcraft was the Microsoft guy. Honestly, I agree with you, Master. That is a legitimate possibility. No, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. That was literally just a screw up. That's true, Lord Harriman. I think Lord Harriman just told Mandy to shut up about it. That's the old joke, right? Yeah, we know, because you won't shut up about it, Lord. God. Oh, jeez, Wario's jumps are terrible. Oh, that's true. FF11 does do exactly one thing better than WoW. It wastes your time better. All right, so. Uh-oh. Do I hear an adorable niece? Can you say that again? Are you pizza?
No.
Are you pizza?
No.
You are pizza. Admit it. I will eat the pizza. No, don't eat my brains. Brains. I'm a zombie. I'm a zombie. Aw, hug. One of the things I also did off camera, like copious amount of spare time, was, oh, by the way, thank you for the After Racks, is I sat down and kind of did a mental self-audit of the original review. I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you guys for 5 seconds. Just for 5, the rest of it's all lies. And admit that I was actually kind of nervous about doing that audit. Because at the very back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh god, if this review is completely differently from the original version, even though it's a remake, but a lot of it is still the same core gameplay. So if it reviewed completely differently, there's something wrong with me. And that was only a year ago, and I can't redo the system. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Panic, panic, panic. However, having finished that audit, and that re-review, if you will, I can conclude that there's only probably one thing I would change with the original review at the moment. Maybe 2. So, that was, and I say this without hyperbole, an honest-to-God relief. So anyways, I know nobody else cares, that was important enough to me to bother with this morning. Camera? 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 Camera. Camera. Oh my god! Jesus Christ! What was that nonsense? Mario's butt. 64. Mario's butt 2. The rebuttoning. Hey, there we go. For the record, what I would have gone ahead and done is I would have done a BlizzCon next year when they probably, and this is true, they probably do have a lot that they're willing to and are going to have on the table to announce next year. That's very likely. The acquisition will have formally gone through by then. And they will already have started, you know, working under the new schedule line, the new production line. The next WoW expansion will probably be out by then. You know, so War Within will be out, you know. It'll be a completely different landscape. Perfect time to do a BlizzCon. This year, what I would have done is I would have gone somewhere and I would have rented a stage and kind of done some lighting work and done some camera work and basically set it up for Metzen. And I would have had him go on stage and make a comment about the fact that, you know, there's no crowd today. There's no one here with me today. But that's because, you know, and honestly, just having to be honest, we didn't feel like it was worth dragging, you know, hundreds of people all the way to Anaheim just for what I'm about to tell you, right? And then just have Metzen riff on stage, on an empty stage for a few minutes, and kind of be Metzen for a minute. And then, 3 title crowds, boom, boom, boom. Here's the new expansion. For Azeroth! And then, bam, there you go. That's what I would have done, and make it essentially a Nintendo Direct kind of a situation. What I would probably do, if I was in control of the world, which of course I am not, is I would probably go ahead and be like, all right, look. You see that how I just fell into a pit there? That's great. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. I don't believe in me, Dark Day. Do you believe in me? Because I don't believe in me. Mario? Mario, stop orbiting the coin. Oh my god, what are you doing, Mario? What are you... Oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing, Mario? No!
Okay, Bowser.
The coin. The coin had its own gravitational pull. Of course, Melkor, can't you? Can't you hear your own voice as you type? I'm gonna trust Darkrai's evil, evil ways here. Start as Luigi, because you can do that. I have no words. I have no words. Yeah, I've noticed as I've been going, and I haven't really shown this off too much, that occasionally I'll be on a specific star and I glance over at the guide I've got just to make sure I'm keeping track, and it says, hey, you can also get this with such and also such and such. Here's the intended method, but also here's these other 2 methods, and so forth and so on. Agreed, Rex. Agreed. I've actually already said this, but I do feel that one of the problems with this game is the fact that they felt married to the stylus. I get why it was a launch title for the DS, but I do actually think that if they had spent more time, polishing up the game and not the gimmick, the game would be better. This is not exactly an uncommon thing for Nintendo to do, because this is true of pretty much every gimmick they've ever introduced, ever. I mean, you remember those Joy-Cons for the Switch? You remember how they can do all kinds of stuff other than just be remote controls? You remember how exactly one game so far has really made use of all those little gimmicks? You remember how the GameCube can do 3D? Remember how the 3DS can do 3D? Nintendo has a long-standing habit of doing gimmicks just pretty much for the sake of doing gimmicks. And then saying, okay, we filled our gimmick quota, and I'll go back to making games. Oh man, off-brand controllers can go to hell. In Discord earlier, while I was getting some work done, we were listing our favorite controllers, like, in order. And I've said many times that the NES is the worst, but actually, no, the worst controller is the off-brand garbage controllers. Like, I'm serious. You know what I mean if you've experienced that. For a while, my friends and I pretty much had to use this terrible, terrible PS2 knockoff controller. For our computer stuff, for our PC controller. And God, it was so terrible. Oh yeah, Huthor, you probably didn't hear this. So I was playing Warcraft Rumble, I was like, oh my god, it doesn't have in-game microtransactions. I hit level, like, I don't know, 15 or something like that. And lo and behold, I unlocked microtransactions. In case you missed that, yes, I unlocked the ability to spend money on the game. I had to level to reach that point. That's not a joke. Oh, you flooded my house. Why? Look at this mess. What am I going to do now? Ceilings ruined, the floor is soaked. What to do? What to do? It makes me so mad. Everything's been wrong since I got this star. It's so shiny, but it makes me feel strange. I must kill. My hunger for blood must be sated. This is going to sound really horrible, but I'm trying to think of a rare game that I just unabashedly liked. Not liked with an asterisk, just liked. I'm not coming up with anything. Yeah, I like well-done games. Okay, that was intended as a pun, not a dig. believe you beat me again. I just spent all my cash on these new Super Koopa sprint sneakers. I guess I have to hand over the star. Here you go. Time to go get lost in drunkenness and depression. And then slowly kill myself. Blood, blood. Go! Oh my god! Physics! How do you work? Well, that's not what I wanted at all! And now we have to start over from the beginning. So one of my favorite things to do is having to start over from the beginning. Screw it. Alright, so anyways, here we are. We made it back up. What? If there's one thing I feel like I enjoy about Mario 64, it's how many times the game makes me go, huh? I'm just confused about what happened. As we journey through the great deep, beneath the waves, we must ponder our place within the universe. The great oh, where we're done. Game. Why do you hate life, game? Why are you the enemy of all joy? You know, one of the biggest reasons that I do put Odyssey on such a pedestal? I never feel irritated playing it. There's no point at which I'm wrestling with the camera or the controls or anything. It just plays well. You know? I shouldn't say never, but it's less common. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No! No! God damn you! So, who's ready for the worst levels in the game? That's not true. Sand is pretty bad, but it was made better in this version, so that's whatever. But no, let's just get the worst level, like, as much as we're willing to do of the worst level out of the way. If I can even reach it with Yoshi. Like, honestly, screw this level and everything about it. Like, the music, the instant death pits in all directions, the fact that it's slow and boring as you just sit here and wait for the frickin' elevator to do its thing. I have attempted it, if you mean I walked in and explained why it's the worst star in the game. Heart-pounding action. I feel like they slowed down the carpet. Anyone else getting that vibe? I could be wrong. It has been a year. Yeah, so that's probably exactly why there's a Mario cap right here. And a power-up right here. It's like, so you could do the rest of the stage. Or... yeah, I have that problem a lot. Well, what in the world was that? You saw that, right? He just lunged over the edge like he was desperate to kill himself. Desperate for suicide and fascism in YouTube. Would I call Bowser a villain? Not really, no. Like, I mean, everyone uses different definitions of what that word even means, but generally it means like, mwahaha. It does depend on the game, which is actually really frustrating. But put bluntly, anytime Bowser gets any real characterization other than, I'm going to destroy the entire galaxy, then he's not a villain. Like, in Galaxy 1 and 2, Bowser's honestly, like, weirdly evil. Like, negative to story evil. No, really, we're probably gonna ding Galaxy 1 and 2 for the fact that Bowser is just inexplicably evil. For no some goddamn reason. Oh god, can't see what I'm doing. Still can't see what I'm doing, camera. Thanks for that. Yeah. Okay, that camera. There you go. That is every star in this level, except for the first one and the 100 coins. I am not doing the 100 coins. Could you not? Nope. Okay, cool. I knew it! I knew it! You know what the problem was? I was trying to be simple. I was trying to do it the nice, you know, normal, legitimate way. I should just be fancy. Accept that, because that's actually safer. I'm going to lose internet to Twitch. That's always important. Gotta lose my Twitch connection. If I don't lose my Twitch connection, am I even really streaming? Honestly. Okay, I think I might have picked the fast setting. I think 9 is fast. That's actually bad. Okay, sure. This is not something I'm going to regret instantly. Yeah. I regret this instantly. Yeah, we might end up just redoing this. Or I might end up nailing it, and then everyone's going to be like, oh man, did you see the VOD? And everyone will be like, no. And then we're going to die. Oh, right. There's no insta-death now. God, you know, what's really funny, I am legitimately proud of having 100% in pretty much every Mario game. Except this one, and Sunshine. This one and Sunshine are both just the most pain-in-the-ass games to 100%. And even though other games like Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 and Odyssey both have more, they're just better. They're not as frustrating as running around getting 100 coins. Or, you know... Ugh, the nonsense that Sunshine was. Come on, camera. There you are. Go this... No, don't grab the pole. Mario, I hate you. I want you to know that. I want you to know that I hate you on a deeply personal level. Oh my god, I'm like stuck on this thing now. Okay. Take 2. Haven't died yet. That's a personal best. Not dying. It's more difficult than you'd think. Okay. Oh, I think the internet might have come back. Chat is not updating. Yeah, that was a long no internet section. Let's see if we could just kind of reboot chat really quick here. Okay, so, as I was saying, I suck at video games. Any questions? So I changed my mind. There are a couple of positives and negatives that I think we should add to the old review. Let's start with the positive, because I know that's what everybody actually cares about. Well, you see who, Thor. It's because I'm secretly an alien. The positive is, and I can't believe I never gave this before, the all roads lead to Rome approach of how the entire game is designed. See, people call it the Elden Ring thing, but that's just those people don't understand the games came out before Elden Ring. The ability to, say, well, I don't want this star, or I want to skip this star, or I'm having trouble with this particular thing, and so forth and so on. There's a lot of all roads lead to Rome with regards to how you progress through the game. And it's awesome. End statement. Like, that's it. That's the positive. I'm weirded out that we didn't give that one last time. Especially since we definitely gave that negative to Sunshine last time for the exact opposite problem. So, this is one I'm still debating. It would apply to both games equally. The idea is that the difficulty curve is wonky. It's all over the place. The difficulty curve is absolutely all over the place. Bob-Omb Battlefield is a near-perfect intro and tutorial, and honestly, probably one of the better constructed stages in the game from just a purely mechanical perspective. But from then on, all bets are off. Like, who freaking knows? Like, the fact that one of the first stages you can encounter is the underwater one, sure, that's a relatively safe, peaceful zone. No real issues there. But then there's Womp's Fortress, which has some wonky terrain and bottomless death pits in all directions. Then there's the Frost level, which I can't remember the name of, which also has bottomless death pits in all directions. And then you go downstairs, and then you fight Lethal Lava Land, which is honestly quite legit and one of the better stages of the game. And then that frickin' sand level, which sucks. Although it doesn't suck as much in this version, but still. And then you go to Hazy Maze Cave, which is just frustrating, and you get my overall point, right? It just bounces all over the place. It is honestly a negative that I think the original deserves, just like this version. I hate you, Yoshi. I want you to know that. I hope you die. I hope you die in a fire, Yoshi. So here's the worst start in the game. I don't know what you're talking about, Elizar. This is the best music ever made in the history of the ever. I wish I could listen to this music all day. Forever. You know, let's do a save state. No reason. No reason. Still too low. But then, we aim again. I hate this game and everything about it. Alright, so let's do... way up here. Jesus Christ, are you joking me with this? Alright, fine. We'll do it this way then. I know you can make that shot. Still the worst start in the game. It's only made better because the flight controls are so much better in this version. Oh, and to explain that whole point, you're probably wondering, what makes that the worst start in the game? Watch this. In most stages, when you fall, you get kicked out of the stage. Here, if you fall... And I want to stress that it's impossible to be further away from that level entrance than this. You have to go all the way through the outer thing, and then all the way through the lower floor, and then up the stairs, and then up the second flight of stairs. And all of this is through multiple load screens, and then make the stupid jumps back up, and then you're back at the dungeon where you can try again. And every time you fail, this is your penalty for doing that. So speaking of negatives that the original should deserve, that it didn't get, negative to gameplay. I cannot believe we didn't give that a negative last time. I am shocked about that. I think that's the idea, but like from a gameplay perspective, that's terrible. Actually, yes, Elizar. Because Luigi and Peach were my favorite characters to play on in Super Mario Bros. 2. So... And you probably don't know this, but back in the day there was something called the rumor train. Or whatever the hell you want to call it. And yeah, the rumor mill was really severe in the 90s because the internet was new and verification wasn't really common. Ow. So there was a whole lot of, oh yeah, no, you could totally, you know, play as this character, or this character's totally in, or you can resurrect this character. Ocarina, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7, Pokemon. It was very, very, very common. The reason I bring all this up is because one of the Mario 64 rumors that was most common was, you can play as Luigi. This is doubly funny because we know that originally there was going to be Luigi in this game, but it was knocked out so early in development, it might as well not even be considered into equations. But man, that rumor persisted. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that rumor persisted to some extent or another until we started decompiling the literal code of the game we're playing. Because we've done that now. You know, Ginger Overseer is correct. This game sucks. It has no filler content, no X boosters I can purchase, no purchasable skins, no cut content that's locked behind a paywall. Where's my microtransactions? How do I know I'm actually enjoying a game if there's no microtransactions in it? Yeah, there's no gotcha mechanics. How can I tell if I'm enjoying a game if it's not pissing me off the entire time? Okay, obviously all of that is a joke, but you want to hear something really terrible? So, I forget the exact game, but there was a game that came out semi-recently that, this was actually like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I need the shell for that. It was a complaint about a game that didn't have microtransactions. There it is. And the thrust of the idea was exactly whatever you're picturing. Alright, so we're just gonna do this. This is quick, because we're like right here. Yeah, really, they were upset that the game... They might have been plants. I have no evidence or way to prove or disprove that, but there were comments about a game and feedback about a game that said, we want more microtransactions and more ways to keep spending on the game. Otherwise, and I quote, how do we know we're actually getting our value out of the game? If I can get it down to the 80s or 90s, I'll go for the inner slide. Ah! Let me just miss all of those. I'm just so good at video games, you guys. No! No! Oh god, I can't see where I am. Okay, well, I just missed out on 3 coins. That's cool. Oh, come on. I hate this goddamn game. That's actually what I was thinking, Hazardous. I'm just failing at going down the slide in general, which is the problem. No! I was 1 off. I don't know if you saw that. I was 1 off. God damn it. 1. I just... Why? Okay. I'm gonna AFK for a couple of minutes. You guys like circus peanuts? Anyone like circus peanuts? Ah. Oh. What's so little semi-pro tip? If you ever find yourself tilting to an extent where you can't even tell you're tilting, that's the worst kind, by the way. Like, if you can tell you're tilting, usually you have some control over it. But if you just start playing worse and worse and worse and worse, then what's happening is some part of you internally is just kind of falling apart. And you're like, okay. So you take a pause. And don't just pause, though. Pausing is important. But you need to actually go do something else. So I just went upstairs. Hung out with my nieces for a minute. Swept the floor. I could also be tired. That's very valid. It's been a very, very, very long 4 months at this point. So I just swept the floor for a little bit, you know. Just chilling with them. Chatted with my niece. There's apparently going to have a sleepover tonight, so that'll be cool. I'm also going to use save states because I don't give a damn at this point. I honestly hope I don't need them. That is always the goal. But they're there in case I need them now, right? That's pretty much the point of that. No, I deleted your guesses, Act. Out of pure vitriolic hatred. And we're dead. Wow. That's weird. Oh god, that's a game over. Okay, so anyway, so here we are at the last boss. It gives you a checkpoint anyways. It does. If I died here and had an extra life, it would just put me right back into the boss fight, so... I don't feel bad about doing that. You gonna grab him? And we're dead. Wow! Okay.
Bye-bye.
We'll be here a minute, by the way. That's just our life now. If we give this 2 negatives, we have to give the original 1 negative. Pretty much guaranteed. Which we did not do last time, for the record. I'm willing to hear discussions on the matter.
Bye-bye.
And yeah, we just threw up the cheat flag. Literally on the last hit of the last boss, we threw up the cheat flag. Now that pisses me off. But my thumb was starting to hurt.
Oh! Yoshi! The power of the stars is restored to the castle. And it's all thanks to you. Thank you all. We have to do something special for you.
Here we go!
Listen. Let's bake a delicious cake. For my heroes. Yoshi!
Well, there's a reason they replaced her as Peach. What's funny is the last time... So that's the original voice actress for Peach. They then replaced her immediately and have used someone else in every other thing ever. But for nostalgia's sake, they decided to bring her back for this game. So, that's why.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
Stop it! For 5 seconds, do what you're told. No, what you're told. No! Why? Why do you exist? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop sliding everywhere. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, okay. What is happening? Okay. Do you mind? Do you mind? Please? Why do you suck? Oh my god, I hate you! I hate everything about you! I want you to die! I want you to just fall into a hole and sit there until you starve to death. I want you to feel that vacuous pit in the center of your stomach as your body slowly eats itself. What I'm doing right now is I'm doing the edits to the classic Mario 64 run super quick because it's only a couple of changes. Because that way we can get the new golden number for the original Mario 64, which means we can then compare it to the new one. Okay, so that brings Mario 64 down to 10.22 for perspective and the golden number. Who's down for a chill stream after this? You'll see what game I'm playing. It's on brand, if that makes you feel any better. So I think it's fair to say this game is going to score better than the original. It does get a couple of additional negatives that are unique to its version, but it also gets several positives the original didn't. And I do think some of the minute changes to stages help. Wow. This was actually a shorter playthrough than Mario 64 original. Even though we actually got more stars and did more of the game. That actually tracks, if I'm being honest. I saw that it was a 14-hour game. I'm like, oh wow, but the last one was actually 16 hours. Not much of a difference, but still. Why don't I do this? Let's make this easy. Let's do a direct comparison. Side by side. Mario 64 was 15.83 hours, and this is 13.98 hours. So, a couple hours variance. The DS version, I gave 1 additional story positive because of the visuals and the improvement thereof, so 4 pluses to story as opposed to 3. Neither of these games are very story-heavy. Mario 64 had a +5 to gameplay. That is 0.3 per hour and a 56% ratio. Mario 64 DS had +22 to gameplay. That's 1.5 pluses per hour and a 73% ratio. Giving us our final score of, drumroll please, Mario 64 got after all the recalculations and the audit I just did, a 10.22 golden number. Mario 64 DS got a 69.51. And if I'm being totally honest, as I usually like to do, that feels right. That is a fairly large bump up in overall quality. I think the improvements to the level design, the controls, the camera, and arguably most importantly of all, the other players. Gaining access to Yoshi and Luigi and the different hats that they added was kind of a game changer for this. A perfect example of this is when we're doing the sand level. There's 2 major things that happen in the sand level that were much less frustrating than they were normally. First of all, flying is just better. Flight controls are just fundamentally better in the DS version. And so flying around all of a sudden became a normal and viable tactic, and that was cool. Second, and more importantly, in the exact same desert level, when we go inside, we have to go up, which could involve a bunch of jumps. Or you can go over there and get Balloon Mario and just float up to the top. Boom, like that. We also did that on the Rainbow Ride level, if you remember that as well. It's all about those details. I've said this before and I'll say this again. Yeah, no, exactly. It pushed the game up to the game that I honestly enjoy. In fact, if I can put one little, like, stamp at the end of this, I would say I wish I wasn't so damn tired and or fog-brained. Because I kind of like the idea of just going ahead and finishing up the game other than the coins. Like, I was kind of with the idea of getting 120 stars literally just for fun. There's still some frustrations in the game, but, like, everything's relative, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed at least a little bit. This was interesting. Oh, one last thing before I cut off. I think I can officially, formally, professionally put a stamp here and say that this is a proper remake. Not the first, that's still Leaf Red, or Leaf Green and Fire Red. But I do still think that this qualifies. I think that this is what that phrase is supposed to mean. It takes the original and does a lot of refinements, redoes some of the underlying code, actually most of the underlying code, and builds atop the game to just make the game better pretty much across the board. There were a few noticeable variances and things that the DS version did worse, absolutely. But proper remake, woo. I will do a second stream today. It's not going to be a review stream. We're just going to chill for a bit. I'll see you guys.
Hello!
I am glad that you like wet masks. I do not know why, but that's okay. Oh my god, the controls are different. Oh my god, the controls are different. God, this looks so much worse. Oh my god, that's so terrible. Oh my god. Oh my god, the textures are so bad. The textures are so bad. I don't have a mini-map. I actually started speedrunning Mario 64 a while ago. I kind of put it down because of what's happening on the screen right now. Jesus Christ. Go. There you go. There is a copyright strike against the YouTube VOD for Dire Docks. Of all things? Really? What? Yeah, so this is the slow method, but it is very secure. How many of you didn't even know you could do this? Real question. Oh, God! Okay, hang on. It just controls so much differently. I can't even put into words how much differently this controls than the DS version. If you were paying attention, during the DS version, I actually did a lot of these stages on fast, just to challenge myself, just to do hard mode. But I just apparently cannot do that with this. At least not without the practice. No. There's a category of, it's a task thing for Chrono Trigger. That's why I was confused. There's a task for Chrono Trigger, which can beat the game in an absolutely ludicrously amount of time, pretty much from the menu. But it requires doing input while doing input, which is a task-only trick. You cannot do multiple input at the same time as a live streamer, not at the level that's required. So that's what I was thinking of. If you haven't seen it before, I recommend it. It's hilarious. Although, the more visually amusing version of that trick... Come on, there you go. Is when, So, you remember the flashback during the first trial? Well, the trick can... take control of the game from within the flashback. Yeah. And then just goes and beats the game from within the flashback. And I've always been amused by what that means in lore, right? Like, picture, you go to the trial and like, could you tell for us what happened, sir? I was like, sure. Well, the first thing I did was I walked down the street, and then I walked up to this thing, and I hit this portal, and I went to the end of time, and I destroyed Lavos. Thank you for your testimony, sir. Well, admittedly... this wasn't originally what I was going to play, and then someone was like, hey, why don't you play this? And I was like, well... And then I noticed we're only missing 4 stars. And I was like, 4 stars couldn't possibly be that bad, right? It's only 4. Like, what's 4 divided by 120? Because that's got to be a small percent, right? Right? Right. What? I didn't see what happened. What the hell? Sorry, Lord Haremont. I shouldn't find that funny. What the hell was that? Okay. So anyways, so that was Mario 3D. I don't care that much. I've already 100% of this game in my life. I don't need to do it again. Let's do what I was actually gonna do, shall we?
Super Mario Sunshine!
Court is now in session.
As you are no doubt aware,
someone has been senselessly defacing Fair Aldostino using some paint-like substance. The accused is charged with polluting our beautiful home and, yes, endangering our...
Court adjourned.
Very Ace Attorney courtroom, as you can see. We gave this a negative when we were doing this.
appears to be quite a predicament, Mario.
I think we need to change around the visual pluses. I actually think we might end up giving more visual pluses to Sunshine. And by visual pluses, I mean story pluses. The atmosphere, the story axis is what salvages this game, to be blunt. I'm dead serious, Mr. Red. Look at this place. Like, I'll show it off as soon as I access the first level here. Ditto, Yura. Honestly, when this game first came out, it completely blew me away. So, I don't think I've ever told this story. I might have last time when we played this last year. But I actually played this game right after playing Mario 64. I replayed 64 to walk into Sunshine fresh when Sunshine was new. And Sunshine, going straight from 64 to Sunshine, is just gobsmacking. Now, 64 is, in the final equation, a better game. But, I mean, look at this. There's just people walking around to chat with and interact with. And the graphics look so much brighter and crisper. And, like, the visuals and the style and the music. There's little heat waves to indicate that you're in the tropics. And the way that the water looks. It's bonkers. And then, you know, and then you start playing the game and you're like, oh god, what have I done? I regret everything. And like I said, I'm almost tempted to call this Sunshine Syndrome. Because first of all, I like the alliteration. And second of all, it rolls off the tongue nicely. Because most games get worse as the game goes on. But how many games is it where it's actively not worth playing after a certain point of the game, right? Where you're better off pausing the game at a certain point. And that fits Sunshine to a T. Because these early few levels rock, honestly. Like, all of my favorite levels are the first 3 ones in this game. By a wide margin. Anyways. So, real quick. Let's just roam. Let's just soak it in for a minute. Like, really soak it in. We've got people wandering around. Nice tropical t-shirts. Peach has got her parasol. She's not even sitting there idly. She's kind of twirling it a little bit idly because she's bored. Everything is so bouncy and animated, right? Animations is something I don't get to talk about as much as I'd like, but there's a lot of, like, neat little animations just as people are walking or standing, or looking around, trying to figure out what they're looking at. And they're like, whatever. There's bits of fruit lying around. They actually bothered to not only paint the windows, but some of these windows have 3D meshing on them, too, to add to the visuals of it. Water's everywhere. Even in the hub area, there's just a lot of water just around the place. And the water looks good to this very day. Some people just hanging out, requesting resources. Little guy hanging out with his gondola. Or gondola. Yeah, no, this is one of the best hubs, like, period. At least from a story axis. Gameplay-wise, it's not super great. Some of the levels are actually honestly irritating to reach. But from a story perspective, this is legit. You hear that? Different sound effect for the tile on the brick. The literal roof work. Hell yeah, houses. Just look at the colors. Look at the use of colors. Yeah, you just want to look at it. Honestly, that's a great way to phrase that. And it's all distinct, too. It's not just... Some games make the mistake of just being, like... the same temperature of colors. I think I'm using the wrong terminology. Evo could correct me here if she knows. But, like... They put too many blues and cool colors alongside each other, and they don't come across as... They don't pop, right? And instead here, they know how to use colors against each other. Colors that contrast each other properly. Look at this. You got bright pinks, which are fading into, like, light whites. And the white and green, which is complemented by yellows. A little brown here. Yeah, a lot of shading, too. A lot of shadow work. So that's another thing. Lighting. We should probably write that down, too. It's 2 positives that I've got for the audit here. I mean, honestly, if you want to know why the Mario setting is a fantasy setting, look at how clean this harbor is. Have you ever been to a harbor in real life? Because I have. Have you ever smelled a harbor in real life? Oh, man. Oh. Really quick. Check out that mirroring. Look at that. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. That's just gorgeous. Did I mention the game in this game sucks? I've been doing a lot of praising, and it's nice to just relax and praise a game for a while. But it's worth noting that Sunshine's gameplay frickin' sucks. There's a reason why I say this game is salvaged by its story axis. That's the other thing. Not that this would affect a review, but there is... Yes, I have Blue Fusion Gold. I have 100% in every mainline Mario game except for New Super Mario Bros. And New Super Mario Bros. 2. Most games like this have good and bad, stars or shines or moons or whatever, right? The biggest problem with Sunshine is you can't skip them. I mean, there's some you can skip, but, like, you could skip the one I'm doing right now. But a whole lot of the bad ones, there's no, well, this one sucks, I'm just going to move on. No, you gotta do it to beat the freaking game. Okay. Yeah. But there's only one way I can put them with the Christmas stuff, and that's if you give me a hug. No backwards hug? Backwards hug! That's a sideways hug! Eat your brains hug.
Right.
You don't have a brain?
I do have a brain.
Backwards hug! Backwards hug! Here, you want to see something cool?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hop out of here. Yeah, let's go over here.
Up with the water.
Okay, I was gonna go into the rainbow. I thought you'd like the rainbow.
I like the rainbow too.
Into the rainbow.
No, out of the rainbow.
Into the rainbow. Oh, I can't go into the rainbow. How do I go to the rainbow? No. Into the rainbow. Why isn't it working?
Trying to jump out of it.
Why doesn't it work?
He's trying to jump
There
out.
we
Boy.
go. Into the rainbow.
I'm gonna steal your bed.
No, don't steal my bed. Don't steal my bed. Don't steal my bed. No! She stole my bed. She took my bed. I'm very sad about this.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on. Dude.
Did you just say dude?
Yeah.
Say it again. Dude.
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 I'm gonna steal your chair.
Don't steal my chair. That's my chair.
I ate it.
You're not allowed to eat my chair. Why are you eating my chair? I'm not... This is going to sound funny. I'm not as impressed with the visuals of the last few stages. Like, it's not like they're bad, but like compared to the sheer awesomeness of some of the earlier stages, this is just kind of banal. Like, it's a mostly empty courtyard-looking area with a couple of mushrooms and some people in it. And the pathways, right? Like, there's just not as much here. Look at this. But, like, freeze that image in your mind. I'm sorry it takes so long for me to switch stages. But I want you to compare and contrast what we just saw with this area, with this level, with this stage. Like, to me, that difference is night and day. Even just this initial area has more thought put into it. About the specifics of the hills and the slanting, what it has you looking at. You can literally see the windmill, which is the intended target of the stage, like right there. Whatever those are, the things up in the sky, the water, which is of course going down a hill to encourage you to be able to do something like what I just did. It immediately lends you here, which also gets you, I guess I'm talking a little bit gameplay-wise, but still. Like, yeah, a lot of clear thought and effort was put into this area. With, like, little houses and the way they interconnect with each other, which direction they're facing, the little roofs they got going on. The fact that the walls aren't, like, one static image, but are, like, multiple... Like, I can't do the camera right, but there are multiple types of images. The use of shadow, as you pointed out earlier, Evo. Like, it's just night and day, honestly. And the ending, I think it's everything, so I think that's a pretty solid audit. But let's go ahead. So, here's the relevant point. The golden number of Mario Sunshine was 12.64, okay? So what do you think the new golden number is going to be? Visually, purely visually, Odyssey. Controls, Odyssey. Camera, Odyssey. Platforming, Odyssey. 3D, Odyssey. 2D, also Odyssey. I need to decide something. I wouldn't mind some input on this. How many doodad positives do you think Delfino Plaza gets? Let's look around for a second. So we've got the posters, we've got we've got carpets and little awnings and the shadows they cast. People hanging out. We got bananas. We got little benches up over here, some umbrellas for people to chill. Some peppers, trees, of course, like a little fruit cargo stand looking thing. Not much over here, in fact, nothing over here. But if we get back to the main area, more awnings. A lot of awnings. Got the little fountain we just went back. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling double, because this is definitely above, like, the normal single positive. But I don't think it approaches triple. I gush about it, but I've seen better. And I do gush about it. Delfino Plaza is awesome, but I think I agree with the crowd. I think we'll go 2. So, does anyone remember what the score was for Mario Sunshine? Oh, never mind, it's right here. 12.249. The answer is it is actually going up. The game, it's just funny to me because the gameplay did go down, but the story went up enough to compensate for that. So it's going from 12 up to 22.30. Not exactly a big boost, which is good. It means the audit is continuing to, or rather the review system is continuing to work the same way it should. I don't need to do massive overhauls to the system. I'll take that. I'm going to go and chop off tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., roughly, Eastern Standard Time. We'll be playing this. I'm looking forward to this. We're pretty much officially out of the bad for the 3D Marios. And I'm really happy that we don't have to do any kind of, real undoing of the system. Like, I know that sounds so pathetic, but the fact that both Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine only needed very slight edits for an audit, which will always happen. That's always going to be a thing. Proves that we don't need to move the Oblivion line, to me. And that's a really good thing to me, because one of my biggest fears for years has been, oh god, we're going to have to move the Oblivion line. And it's something people joke about all the time. It's like, oh, no, time to move the Oblivion line. Time to start everything over and throw everything out in the trash again. And that's a scary thought, to be very blunt. That's not something I would enjoy doing. So, nope, we're good. Anyways, I'll see y'all.
So long, Bowser.